Okay, this is the guided practice painting, one of them for today. I'm going to try to do tutorials as well as a live stream so that people can see what's going on. So what you need is acrylic paint in the three primary colors and black and white, a brush, and some water. So the very first thing that we are going to do is we are going to start out by painting some basic shapes and turning them into things. So the very first thing we're going to do is water down and then do, an oval. So that's an oval just in water, and I'm going to fill that in. It's kind of like you're going to do watercolors when you get to that week, or if you've had that week. A little bit of what yellow paint in there and let it bleed out. And I'm not really shaping anything yet. I just have my yellow oval. Okay. It's not a circle. It's an oval. Alright. Now, I'm going to turn that into something. So over here where I have my paint, I am going to take some white over to the side and add some yellow to it to create a tint. And at the top, I'm going to start working with that tint. And I'm kind of painting on the top and the sides. And I'm going to get lighter, so I'm adding a little bit of that to some more white. And kind of, this is where the light is hitting it. Okay. Rinsing out my brush as I go along. And now I want some darker yellow. Now remember, dark yellow, you don't add black because you'll end up with green. So I'm taking some red, taking some yellow to the side. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit of that red to the yellow. I don't need to do a ton, so I just want a little bit of orange. Right? Once I have that little bit of orange, I'm going to add a little black to it to get a brown. And then that brown, I'm going to go and add some of that to the yellow to get my dark yellow. See, I have a dark yellow there, it's not green. And the dark yellow kind of goes around the other side. And see, I'm not painting in stripes, I'm just kind of dabbing with the brush in places. Get some more of the pure yellow. And I'm kind of putting that pure yellow on top. And what I'm doing here is I'm creating the shadows. And it's just like when we use value and we're shading. Kind of create that form. Add some blue. Making a little bit of green here, yellow, adding the blue to the yellow, and I want a really, like, a yellow green, so I'm just gradually adding blue as I go, and then I'm going to add some of that. And now I'm kind of moving the brush around. A lot of painting, you just kind of move your brush in different ways. You don't really go straight with your brush very often. Then I'm taking up some of that highlight, working that on the top. And as you work, your paint blends together. And remember that gradation that you had to work so hard for when we were doing in pencils? Paint kind of does it on its own. And now I'm bringing out the little parts on the side. And you might be able to tell what kind of fruit I'm painting right now. It's a basic lemon. It's not quite done. A bit of this darker down here. And as I go back, you can see I'm using some smoother lines. And those smoother lines serve to blend things and bring things in a little tighter. Some more of the highlights on the top. Really, whoops, I got some blue in there. Okay, if you make a mistake like that, don't freak out. I'm going to use it to my advantage. I'm picking up some yellow, and I'm just going to make it part of it and mix it. And it gets a little bit of that green tone in there. And then I'm going to more of those highlights. And these I kind of want to show out because they are really, really going to show up. Okay? And turn it around. And you've got a little lemon. Lemonish. So I'm going to cut that lemon now. So what I'm going to do, I'm taking some of that tint of yellow, really, really light yellow, and I'm going to make a half circle. Okay. And then once I have that half circle, I'm going to take some white and put that about in the middle, and then kind of use it to draw these little dividing lines that kind of look like triangles. And I have 3 of them, like one up the middle, one on this side, one on this side. And then some of that white around the edge. See how it's starting to turn like a lemon slice? Yellow. Peel. And then I'm taking some yellow and white mixed together. So it's not as bright as the peel, but it's not as soft as the white part. And I'm going to do some little bits of texture in here, because you know how the inside is kind of like an orange inside. It's made up of these little capsules, and we kind of want to show that. So far so good. Going back to that green that I made before for this part of the lemon, and I'm just going around some of the edges with that green, giving it a little bit more definition and character there. Dark yellow. Put a dark yellow in here, just in different places to kind of pull out and show that it's 3D. And I've got a lemon, I keep saying orange. I'm going to fix this part of the lemon up here too, because it wasn't looking quite right to me. And after things dry a little bit, you know, then I go in and I just kind of change things up. Okay, now for your next trick, I'm just going to slide my paper over. You don't need to get a whole new one. We are going to, remember that yellow and red we have over here? Well, I don't want to get into the brown, but I'm going to take some of that red and I'm going to make some more orange. Not quite a pumpkin orange. And kind of paint a circle with it. And notice when I'm painting the circle that I'm going in a circle. I'm not going across. My brush strokes are going around and around and around in a circle. Right? Right. Okay. So I've got that. Now, if I'm going to make this into a real orange, they aren't perfectly round. They're pretty much perfectly round, but not quite. And paint-wise, when I'm mixing my paint for this, sorry, Lemon, I'm covering you up. That's okay. I'm adding a little bit more red to this, and I'm going to use that around the sides and around the bottom to kind of flatten it. And I'm still painting round. I'm not going all the way around in a circle though. These are more like short curved lines. Because if the light's coming from this direction, this side of the orange is going to be lighter than this side. So I'm pulling up some of that dark orange and mixing that in. Going along the bottom. I might need more of that, so making a dark orange. I have my orange. Mix more orange, yellow, red, orange. It's too red, I'm going to add some more yellow. Okay. Might add some of this in there too. I like that color. Add a little black. It's kind of that golden brown kind of color. But see, when I layer it on top of the orange that's already there, it just starts looking like shadows, which is what you want. You want to get this nice and round looking. Now as I come up, a bit more of a red. And then some yellow, and this is just pure yellow that I put down that I'm blending while I'm painting. I'm blending it with the brush. Sort of similar to some of the things that you learn in watercolor. Now remember that contour apple that we spent so much time on? We were drawing. We've got to do that, kind of. So I'm adding, I've got some white over here. I'm picking up some of that orange. I'm making it light. And this is like the stem end. So this part that's hitting the light, it comes down, and it comes down in these contours, like this, so that you start getting it to look 3D. And I'm going to switch brushes, or, you know, you could use, if you're at home, just get your brush kind of dry. And I'm dipping it in some pure yellow. And I'm going like this. See, I'm just kind of hitting it with the very end of the brush. And what that is starting to do is starting to give me that texture that orange skin has. So you want it to look orange and not like it's just a ball. Get some of that yellow tint, because that will show up even more. And you don't need to do it all over, and it's not spots. It's just dabbing the brush. And see if it gets too distinct like that. Just kind of keep hitting it. Just takes a little bit of time. And then in the middle, I'm going to see if I can pick up some of that green I had for the lemon. Doing that middle green part of the orange. And because things are not just one color, and remember that the opposite of orange is blue, so I'm going to take some blue over here, blue, mix it with some of that dark orange, okay, and then I'm going to add it in a little bit down here, and it looks weird because I haven't blended it yet. See, I'm kind of doing the little contour dabs with it. Washing out the brush, going back to where I have some orange, and then I'm just kind of going over it. And the blue shows up still, but it becomes part of the orange. It softens it, it tones it down, and it starts to make it look a lot more realistic. And you don't have to cover up all of it. Let some of that blue show. For the middle part, I'm going to take the tip of my brush and I'm going to add a little black to that mixture of kind of the dark blue brown. And I'm just kind of suggesting that place where the little orange starts. And I'm not looking at a real orange, obviously, because I'm here at school. And the oranges aren't quite in a good season yet. And I'm just little bits of white, little bits of yellow in there just to kind of bring out that little part. And now, because this orange is not floating in space, you need a shadow under it. If the light's hitting here, the shadow's over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some black paint, and I'm watering it way down. Where am I? Way down. And then it just kind of goes here. Inside your brush, make sure it has lots of water on it. And you treat this almost like watercolor. And you just pull it out to the side so that you can see that your orange has a shadow. Okay? And that's how we do that.